What's up, YouTube? It's Onion Bomb here, and welcome to the NFL Week 14 game predictions. Now, before we move on to Week 14's games and predict them, let's move back and look back at Week 13 and see which ones I got right and which ones I got wrong. As you can see on screen, I had another really good week of 11-5. And that brings up the overall record to 107 guesses correct. Over 100 guesses correct. It's insane. Now, do keep in mind if my overall is a little bit less than everyone else like doing this type of stuff. It's because I didn't do this for week number 1, so I missed out on 16 games, so there should be 16 more games too, and I can't go back and see like what would I have picked, what would I have picked. I just can't do that, so I just skipped week 1. Unfortunately, I didn't decide to do this till week 2, so yeah, well, but yeah, 11-5 is really good. Now let's look at the ones I did miss. Starting off with the back, Cowboys beat the Redskins. I got that wrong. Looked for an upset there without Zeke, but didn't get that. Speaking of upsets, though, the Jets beat the Chiefs. Oh, they need a bounce back, man. I feel so bad for the Chiefs. I got that wrong. Patriots beat the Bills. Got that right. Dolphins beat the Broncos very heavily. I got that wrong. The Broncos, man. The 49ers got another victory against the Bears. I got that wrong. And the Ravens beat the Lions. I got that wrong. So, starting off really bad. But then I do pick it back up here because the Vikings beat the Falcons. Got that right. The Packers beat the Buccaneers. I got that right. The Titans beat the Texans. Got that right. The Jaguars beat the Colts. I got that right. The Chargers beat the Browns. Thank goodness they didn't let them beat them again. I got that right. The Rams beat the Cardinals. Got that right. The Raiders beat the Giants. I got that right. The Saints beat the Panthers. I got that right. Although I almost took the Panthers, I did end up going with the Saints. The Seahawks beat the Eagles. I got that right. Yes, I did. Go back, watch the video for proof. I did take the Eagles, even though a lot of people took the... I took the Seahawks. Even though a lot of people took the Eagles, I did take the Seahawks, and I got that right. And the Steelers beat the Bengals in another nerve-wracking one. I got that right. So as you can, I started out 1-5, and I bring it back to 11-5. It's crazy. Last week was crazy. So let's see what Week 14 holds. Alright, so let's get into my Week 14 predictions, starting off with Thursday Night Football, a rivalry that's going to be a pretty good game, the Saints and the Falcons. I'm going with the Saints. The Saints are just a really good team right now. They're just really good record. The Falcons are alright too, even though, they started off, they're very, weird. At times it looks like they're going through a Super Bowl hangover, but at other times it looks like they're, alright and didn't. It depends on the game you look at. They lost the teams they should have beat. They beat some good teams. But I don't think they're beating this good team. I think the Saints have the talent and the consistency to beat the Falcons. And the Falcons are just too inconsistent to win this one. So I have them losing this one and the Saints winning. Alright, next up, the Packers and the Browns. I have the Packers. Without Aaron Rodgers, I guess this is a game the Browns could win, but I just don't think so. I think just the Packers, even with Brett Hundley, are just too good for the Browns because the Browns have yet to win a game, the only winless team in the league. So, will they win it? Will they even win one game? I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't think they're winning this one. And yeah, I think the Packers definitely have what it takes to beat the Browns because any team really has what it takes to beat the Browns. They are literally the worst team in the league, but that's not a surprise to anybody, and that has been said millions of times for many years now. Alright, next up, the Lions and the Buccaneers. Both teams kind of on cold streaks. The Buccaneers with kind of disappointing this year, especially without Jameis Winston. The Lions too. But yeah, both of these teams were did pretty good last year. But this year they're kind of falling apart. The Lions definitely on a loss streak that they are gonna break this game. So yeah, I'm taking the Lions. I forgot to say that. The most important thing about this is the actual prediction. I think the Lions will beat the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers have just, something's not working with them. They lost to Aaron Rodgers-less Packers, so I think they're going to lose to full force Lions, and the Lions will break their losing streak. But will they break it even further next week? That we'll have to see for next week's predictions. But it's this week's predictions, so yeah, just say the Lions are going to win this one. Alright, next up is a very interesting one, although the first matchup of this rivalry was more interesting. Now, not so much. It's the Raiders and the Chiefs. I'm taking the Raiders. Now, I thought the Chiefs were going to win the first matchup of this, but then they started to lose. And this is the first of this is the second of the Chiefs losing. The first was the Steelers breaking their undefeated record. But the Raiders were next up. I thought they were going to beat them. I thought originally that each of these teams were going to get one win over each other, but I'm taking the Raiders even though they won the first one already, just because the Chiefs have literally showed me nothing that they're going to win. They're on a huge losing streak. Oh my goodness. I'm saying complete opposite words I want to say right now, and it's completely contradicting what I want to say. I'm just glad I'm catching myself. I'm very sorry, guys. I apologize. But I do have the Raiders. I just think, they're gonna. Will they take over the West? Who knows? Maybe. I think they're gonna win this over the Chiefs. I have to play it safe and take the Raiders because the Chiefs have showed me nothing, especially after losing to the Jets, that they can win more. So next up is a very hard one to pick for me. It's a very good game too. It's the Vikings and the Panthers. And initially I picked the Vikings, but then I was like, alright, the Panthers actually could do this. They've been the Patriots, they've been other good teams. They're actually pretty good. I wanted to take Panthers upset, I eventually ended up going with the Vikings just because I feel like the Panthers are just a little bit too inconsistent to win the Vikings. The Vikings are just too good right now, and too on fire to lose to the Panthers right now. They could definitely. I mean, the Eagles' fire just came down to a stop, but they could lose to this. That's what made me wonder. But I'm gonna end up going with the Vikings. This is just one of those that either way, I'm going to be so sick if I get this wrong, but I'm going to be very happy if I get this right. I'm just taking a shot in the dark because this could go either way. I'm going to take the Vikings, but like I said, it could go either way. And another game that could go either way, but not for the same reason the Vikings and the Panthers. It's the opposite because they're both bad. It's the 49ers and the Texans. Now, the Texans, they should have been good. They would have been good. But Deshaun Watson got hurt and, J.J. Watt got hurt. So, two key players gone. But Deshaun Watson, more of the two. 49ers coming off of their second victory. I'm going with a third. I am going to get the 49ers another win against the Texans. I know it might be a little crazy, but hey, sometimes you just gotta wild out in some of these predictions. I think the 49ers, I knew they were going to get a couple wins, but now with Jimmy Garoppolo, I think they could definitely do this one. The Texans' defense is the only thing that scares me about picking the 49ers, but they are without J.J. Watt, and they're without Deshaun Watson, and Tom Savage is their quarterback, so, I'm going with the 49ers upset. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not even an upset because the Texans have just been bad without their starting quarterback, but I'm going with the 49ers winning this one. Alright, next up, the Colts and the Bills, and I'm going with the Bills. The Bills losing to the Patriots, but hey, they're the Patriots, so no sweat there. The Colts, without Andrew Luck, I say the same thing every week, but you know, it's worth noting, especially if people like watch one week and don't watch the other. Like they need to know the injury, and you know, of course, injuries are a big reason why I pick who I pick, and I'm going with the Bills because of, you know, the Colts not having anyone, and just know the Bills, they had something there for a while. It kind of got extinguished, and it kind of got back up, and then I don't know what's happened with the Bills, but I think they might be able to get their stuff together to make the playoffs, or they might just miss it. I just really want the Ravens out of here, and the Ravens and the rest of their schedule scares me. It looks like they're heading for wild card. I just need another team to step up here. Like, come on. I hope it's the Bills, because they can definitely win this one against the Colts. Alright, next up, the Bears and the Bengals. I'm going with the Bengals. The Bears giving the 49ers their second win. The Bengals giving the Steelers a game. That was an interesting one. That was I haven't said this verbally. I did a bunch of stuff on Twitter, but prayers for Ryan Shazier. Like, I hope he's okay, and even I hope Joe Mixon and Vontaze Burfict are okay too. Even though I don't think Juju should have been suspended for that hit, because it was kind of just a hard-hitting block in my opinion. But I'm not going to get into that because this is a prediction video. But I do think the Bengals are going to win this, especially if they played how they played the Steelers, which I said that last week about the Packers, and I guess they did, because they ended up beating the Buccaneers, not by a lot though. The Bears have been tweaking. It might be a little embarrassing on our and the Ravens' part, or being the Steelers' part. Having the Bengals beat the Bears, but then having those two teams lose to the Bears, because I think the Ravens lost to the Bears too. I know, of course, I remember the Steelers losing to the Bears. Don't remind me. But yeah, I think the Bengals can win this. If they don't, then the Bears might beat the Browns and like Jacksonville, like, oh, they roll the North. I'm derailing a bit. I think the Bengals are going to win this. They just have more talented players and such than the Bears. Alright, next up, Cowboys and Giants. Cowboys, of course. The Giants have been all over the place. They did whatever the heck they did with Eli Manning, like benching him for a game. That was stupid. That just like... That ruined his streak, too, of starting games. So that was stupid. That was just not even, like, cool. Like, come on. But they fired Ben McAdoo, so maybe things will turn around for Giants. It's just, their season's done. They should just try to lose to get a good pick, honestly. There's no point in trying. They're not making the playoffs. There were some problems with the team, and there still will be some problems even if everyone's healthy. But, you know, like Odell and, like, Shepard and Marshall, those were big players, and they needed a running game to begin with, so that doesn't leave them with much offense, and their defense isn't anything to ride home about, so no wonder the Giants have been suffering. But the Cowboys, they've lost Zeke. They've been suffering a little bit without Zeke, and just, I don't know, Dak Prescott is not the Dak Prescott from last year. Definitely a little bit in a sophomore slump, but I think he can get it done against the state of the Giants team right now, even without Ezekiel Elliott. Alright, next up, Titans and Cardinals. I'm picking the Titans. I still stand by the Titans taking over the AFC South and them winning the division, and they could definitely beat the Cardinals, especially with the Cardinals without David Johnson and their quarterback position. With I don't even know like what happened there. Like, I don't know, Carson Palmer's injured. I think their backup's still injured. I'm not sure. They might be going on third string still. I'm not sure. But anyway, the Cardinals, another team affected by injury, and the Titans, you know, full strength, still a pretty decent team. They got it. The Titans are winning that. All right. Next up, Jets and Broncos. I'm taking the Jets. The Broncos, again, like the Chiefs, have showed me nothing that they can win this. The Jets beat the Chiefs, and the Broncos lost to the Dolphins. So, yeah. The Jets are winning this. The Jets have been the shock of the year, even though they're still not making the playoffs or anything. They've played teams they shouldn't have really well. They've beaten teams that they shouldn't. They would definitely beat the Steelers. The Jets would 100% beat the Steelers this year, without a doubt. But the Jets are beating the Broncos this Sunday. All right, next up, Redskins and Chargers. I'm picking the Chargers. And why wouldn't the Chargers win this? Everyone said, oh, they're the scariest team in the AFC next to the Patriots. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, no. But they are winning this game. The Redskins I just think they're worse than the Chargers. The Chargers have been doing stuff pretty good, even though they didn't beat the Browns by that much, but they still beat the Browns. I think they can beat the Redskins. Maybe I'm wrong, but this was a little bit of a toss-up, but I feel pretty confident about picking the Chargers, mainly because everyone's jacking them. But I don't know, maybe this week's gonna show everybody how the Chargers suck, but hope they don't, because I'm picking them and I want that pick right. Next up is a very interesting game. The Seahawks and the Jaguars. Definitely teams with two good defenses. However, the Seahawks has been hit by injury. But I still think the Seahawks are going to win that, and the Jaguars are going to lose. Like I said, Titans are winning this week. I think the Jaguars are losing this week. So that's going to even further the Titans grow of the AFC South. I do think the Jaguars and the Titans will both make the playoffs. It's surprising that two AFC South teams are going to be in the playoffs, judging by last year that one AFC South team won their division to get in the playoffs by 9-7. So, yeah, pretty weird that there's going to be two this year. Or it might be two. Yeah, that's just my prediction. My predictions have been wrong before. But yeah, Seahawks are winning this one, even with their injuries on defense. Defense is still pretty good, and their offense is pretty good too. So I think they're winning. Alright, next up, another very interesting and good game. The Eagles and the Rams. The Eagles, they're the best team in the league, even including the Patriots, and they lost. And now the Patriots are number one on the power rankings, and the Eagles are going to lose again. That's right, I have the Rams winning this game. The Rams could definitely do it. The Eagles could definitely do it, but I just think the Rams will win this and just make the Eagles a little bit more. The Eagles are still going to win their division by miles, but, they're going to lose this game to the Rams. Will they lose any more after this? Probably not, but we'll see. It depends on their calendar, their scheduling. But I think they're going to lose this. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. All right, next game, my game, the Ravens and the Steelers. Another AFC North rivalry, and if it's played like Monday, I can't even watch. I won't be able to watch it. Not only was that so nerve-wracking, but everyone was getting killed. There were so many injuries and everything, and oh my god, for both teams, we lost Shazier for the season without a doubt. I mean, of course, I'm picking the Steelers, but the Steelers beat them in Baltimore. This time it's in Pittsburgh, so I don't see why the Steelers can't beat them at home. It's gonna be a close one because the past 5 were close, but yeah, Steelers are winning this one. If they don't, I'm gonna be very, very, very sad. But oh well. Fun fact: the Ravens game earlier this season was so far the only game I went against the Steelers. I say so far because there's gonna be another one. And on a maybe related topic, the Steelers are versing the Patriots next week. So, yeah, connect the dots as you will. That was Sunday night, so ending this with Monday Night Football. The Patriots, speaking of, against the Dolphins. And I'm going with the Patriots because the Patriots are the Patriots and the Dolphins are the Dolphins. And these two teams literally just played 2 weeks ago, so it's very weird with the scheduling. But yeah, the Patriots are winning this one just because, even without Gronk, they still have Tom Brady. They can lose Gronk, they could lose Tom Brady, and even Brian Hoyer would somehow probably win them a game. Dolphins haven't even been that good. They beat the Broncos somehow, but they're the Broncos. The Broncos have been choking all season, but yeah, Patriots are winning this. I don't even really need to say anything else. They're the Patriots. Alright, so those are my Week 14 predictions of the NFL. as a recap, I have the Saints beating the Falcons, the Packers beating the Browns, the Lions beating the Buccaneers, the Raiders beating the Chiefs, the Vikings beating the Panthers, the 49ers beating the Texans, the Bills beating the Colts, the Bengals beating the Bears, the Cowboys beating the Giants, the Titans beating the Cardinals, the Jets beating the Broncos, the Chargers beating the Redskins, the Seahawks beating the Jaguars, the Rams beating the Eagles, the Steelers beating the Ravens, and the Patriots beating the Dolphins. And if you want to know how I did with these predictions, watch Week 15's video. It's going to summarize like I did with Week 13, Week 14's prediction rating ratio. Hopefully I do good. 3 straight 11-5 record? Question mark. Even better, maybe matching my best ever 12-4 record. 16-0, mate. No, I'm kidding. Could even be 6-10, matching my worst one, or 0-16. Anyway, we'll see how I do. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like or dislike, subscribe or don't subscribe. No, it's always up to you. And I'll see you guys in the next video you watch of me. Goodbye.